All right, good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who don't know, my name is Jason McBain. I'm the Director of Athletics Communication here at FGCU. I just wanted to give you a little quick rundown as to how things will proceed here over the next half hour or so. President Mike Martin, Dr. Martin will speak first, followed by Ken Cavanaugh, who will introduce the head coach, which I don't know if any of you know who that's going to be. At that point, Coach Fly will make some remarks, and then we will open it up for questions of Ken, Fly, and select student athletes at that point. But without further ado, President Martin.
I'm going to be very brief and leave the official announcements to Ken. But first of all, on behalf of the entire Eagle Nation, thanks to Joe Dooley for his service and for his leadership and for the impact he's had on this campus, on these young athletes, but on this community as well. I want to make sure that wherever he is, and I think I know where he is actually, he gets the message that we appreciate what he's done, and he will always have friends and colleagues here. We're here for an important announcement today, and as I say, I'm going to let Ken do that. I just want you to know that in making a decision about the next leader of this program, Ken and I share all the same values and all the same aspirations, and therefore full confidence that the right decisions have been made and will continue to be made, and this is one of them today. We will continue to emphasize that we have on this campus great student athletes, that our student athletes are great citizens, and that they serve along with the rest of us, not only the campus and their colleagues, but the community as a whole. So I want all the folks in the community to know you're here to celebrate your program in this building, which is your building, on this campus, which is your campus. I will simply say that Gary Long thought he was going to get the job. I had to call him yesterday and tell him that he wasn't. So he came anyway, so I appreciate that, Gary, for stepping up and taking the news as it came. The final thing I'll say before I turn this over to Ken, some of you may or may not know this, the Final Four next year is in Minneapolis. And some of you may know I'm a Minnesotan, and some of you may also know I have a nice townhouse in Minneapolis. So it'd be the perfect place to be in March next year. Just want to let you know, you can all stop in. The burgers will be on me. But nonetheless, it's a day to celebrate the next great era in this institution's athletic program, but particularly for our men's basketball team. And with that, let me turn it over to our AD, the man who'll make the official announcement, Ken Cavanaugh.
Thanks, Mike. It's truly a great day today for us. A lot of celebrations, both near and far, for a good friend of ours. The only person in the room, well, maybe there's two of them. The two guys here in the front with the cameras, they're probably the most disappointed. They don't get to spend the next month chasing me around for my phone calls and everything that I've emailed and stuff under. And Susan Evans and the other folks don't have to worry about that either. I do want to echo what Mike just said and congratulate Joe and Tanya and Max. We had a great 5 years. Certainly, when Andy left us, those were big shoes to fill in the Dunk City mystique. Joe certainly left us better than he found it. He's brought in outstanding young men over the course of the past 5 years. We've continued to have successes in all the areas that Mike's asked for, and now it's our opportunity to keep moving it forward as we'd like to. We take a lot of pride, and it's great to see so many of our fellow staff members in here, as well as our great supporters. In particular, we continue to have successes well beyond men's basketball, and I'd like to use this platform today to just recognize two particular folks, or two groups. Within the room, we've got two teams that are currently nationally ranked. One team earned it last week with another big win against the Miami Hurricanes, currently ranked 22nd in the country. Our founding coach for baseball, Dave Toletto, if you stand up, be recognized for the baseball team. Fellow Coach of the Year with a great staff, which is so neat to walk around and be able to show our new wing. And in every office, we can show pictures of former student athletes who are quality student athletes who are continuing to lead after their playing days, led by what we consider to be the best basketball coach in the country on the women's side, a team that this year recaptured our record. We consider the rating threes that the three-point record's our record, but we set the record again this year for most three-pointers in a season. More importantly, we again advanced to the second round with a great win against SEC foe Missouri. Missouri, and a team that's in a position that just was ranked 25th in the country, ranked again in the top 25, Coach Carl Semesco and the great staff that he has. And just to put those two teams together, we got Coach Blankenship in the back, and we're in a situation where our women's soccer team, and Coach Deros isn't here, but our softball team have also been nationally ranked. That's 4 teams this year that have been nationally ranked. And when you add men's basketball and you add swimming and diving and men's soccer, we had 7 teams in the last 5 years that have been nationally ranked. So that's what today's about, us continuing to use platforms of all our sports to create positive publicity for FGCU, and we appreciate all the efforts of all the Eagles that are here today. I'd also like to acknowledge a great group of current and former men's basketball players that have continued to make this position so well desired. Even though we didn't have an open position, my phone has been blowing up, my email's crowded, and in a situation I've had friends of friends reaching out to me over the last 2 or 3 days for a desire to take this position. Some of them are individuals who are some of the top assistant coaches in the country, like Coach Dooley was and Coach Enfield was. We've had individuals who have coached in the Final Four that have reached out. Maybe they're in a different set, but they may like Southwest Florida to live in. But the best thing for us, and the reason we're here today, is to create the best fit. And that's what my responsibility every day is, to take good men and women, to work together with our great staff, to work together with our student athletes and our tremendous administration to do the best we can. And it starts with people that want to be at FGCU and people that know what FGCU is about, and people can leave when they leave, like Joe did and Andy have done, to leave us better than they found it. So it's all about best fit, and whenever possible, I also think great organizations try to create their own and grow their own to hire from within. And I think we're in a position right now where there's no better candidate for us at this particular juncture of our men's basketball program than what we're going to do right now. Someone who's learned from 2 great mentors over the last 7 years, someone who's been a tremendous contributor in all areas. I think there's many people in our university community who've worked with this gentleman over the last 7 years in different ways that don't deal with just bouncing a basketball or recruiting the next student athlete. We're in a position right now where it's my pleasure. I think Mike's got something for me. Mike Miller, we have something, I think, that I'm supposed to hold up for our 4th coach. Is Mike not here? All right, well, we'll hold off on that. We'll do it later for pictures. More importantly, it's my honor and pleasure to introduce our 4th coach in the history of our men's basketball program, Michael Fly.
Well, the good thing about this is, I didn't know there was music playing when I started talking. I appreciate it, though. The good thing about this is, you know, you look out in the room, and this doesn't feel like a press conference to me. I mean, you look around all the different people that are here, people I didn't expect to even be here, to be honest with you. As you can imagine, my phone's rang once or twice in the last little bit, and I had a few things going on with these guys. And to look around the room and think about the last 7 years, and not what I've done, or not what they've done, or Andy Enfield, or Joe, what we've done as a group. To look around the room and see that means a lot to me. You know, it's not a press conference to me, it's a family gathering. And I hope you guys understand that's what I want this to be like, you know, for a lot of years to come. Got to start first with Mom and Dad. Some of you guys know them. Being from Kentucky, I think that they invented basketball. So I'm sure there will be plenty, again, whatever you guys think about how we're doing things, I promise my mom and dad will have every answer to every question there is. My dad likes to ask continually, now, was it in the scouting report for you guys not to guard the three-point line? So when he asks that in the future, I'll just put him on the phone with these guys and say, hey, I don't know, ask them. We told him to guard it, and they didn't. So I could not be more appreciative. A lot of you guys have been extremely kind to my family over the years. A lot of the people I see in the room have sat with my mom and dad, and they're quite colorful, as Heather can attest to, and just done an unbelievable job with them, which I'm so appreciative of. Love them to death, and they've been unbelievable to me. Second person I want to thank here is Miss Heather Searcy for coming and supporting me today. She is, as you get to know her, she is much smarter than me. She is also much better looking than me. And so, you know, everybody's told me, hey, man, you got to be a good recruiter if you're going to be a good head coach. So just want to thank you for being here and supporting me like you do every day. Next, I want to go to Dr. Martin. You know, it's been an interesting first year from a standpoint of, you know, been here 6 years. This is the first year I've gotten to have any interaction with Dr. Martin. And, you know, just in passing before games and getting to say hello to him, he's just one of those guys that in a 1-minute snippet, he gets it. Whether you know him, you don't know him, you know details, I could tell you some about him. I could tell you where he's been. I could tell you, some of the places and schools he's been at. I know LSU won a few things while you were there. But I'll tell you this much. In the very few moments that I've spent with him, he gets it. And that's all I'm going to say to you, and could not tell you how humbled and how much I appreciate the opportunity. After that, and I'm going to try not to get emotional, to be honest with you, Ken has been a guy that there's a lot of coaches that would stand in front of you and say things about ADs and say, oh man, he's the best, and wouldn't mean that, and would say that, to get a new contract, and hopefully this is going to work for that too. But what I will tell you is, for some of you guys know this story, some of you guys don't. When Coach Enfield went to USC, that was an unbelievable emotional time, for everybody. It was a great experience for Coach Enfield. It was a great experience for our program. There was a lot of uncertainty at that time, like there can be, I think there's been like that with our program the last few weeks. Ken was gracious enough to offer me to stay in this program that we had tried to work to build, was very loyal to me. There's probably not another guy in the country that would say, hey, I know you're a part of the last staff. Now I'm going to bring in Joe Dooley, who, as you guys know, has been unbelievably successful as an assistant coach, a head coach. I'm going to make sure you're part of that staff. Okay, so for me, I can't tell you how much that meant to me, the loyalty that you showed me today. You guys, there's no secret about this. I won't comment on specifics, but because we've been so good, it has nothing to do with me. I've had opportunities. There's a reason that I'm still here. The main reason is what's sitting in front of me right now, those 13 plus the guys that do an unbelievable job on scout team, Dolan, and you guys that I'm here. The other reason is that guy right there. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that. I think we would all not be in the place we're in, including myself, and I would have started with him, but I think Mom, Dad, and Heather might have killed me. So I want to move on to Coach Dooley, and I want everybody to understand this, and I've said this since he got here. Coming in and replacing Coach Enfield and the unbelievable run we had was such a hard task for anybody. And from day one, all he said was exactly what you just said. I want to leave this program in better shape than I found it. And that's what he did. And for 5 years personally, he let me grow. He let me coach. These guys will tell you from being around, he let me do anything and everything in the program to learn how to get ready for this moment. And I'm eternally grateful for the 5 years I spent with him, learning not just how to coach basketball, but how to deal with people and how to get ready for this moment right here. So I could not be more happy for him and his family that they're going to get to move on to East Carolina. Hopefully his press conference goes very well today as well. But I can't tell you how much, as somebody that's going to lead this program, how much he means to my career. Moving on, Coach Andy Enfield, you guys know, gave me my first assistant coaching job. Talk to him very regularly. I know some of you guys do as well. He's been an unbelievable supporter of my career, was another guy that was great to learn under, not just basketball, but how to do things in the community, how to deal with people. Coach Enfield can be quite colorful as well, so I had some fun with him. Coach Hamilton, you guys know he just had an unbelievable run to the Elite Eight. Being able to work for Coach Hamilton set me up to be successful with Coach Enfield and Coach Dooley. And he's been an unbelievable mentor to me over the years. He showed me, as these guys hopefully can attest to, how to recruit a little bit and how to get good players on this campus. Could not be more happy for that staff and what they've accomplished this season, and could not tell you how much I lean on him for support every day. The first two guys that really got me into the business that I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about, Coach Bickerstaff, I worked for him. Bernie Bickerstaff with the Charlotte Bobcats was my second job out of college. He probably, if he sees any clips of this, he's probably going to say, oh, that's Young Buck, because I don't think he ever knew my name. But he was an unbelievable guy to learn under and to work for, and being in the NBA and having that opportunity has, again, helped me get ready for today. The last coach I really want to thank, Coach Happy Osborne. He's probably, my guess is sitting in Kentucky somewhere, Georgetown if I were guessing. Coach Osborne gave me a shot in this business. I went to him when I was a student at Kentucky, and I know this shocks you guys. I thought up till I was about a junior I was going to play in the NBA, and these guys will tell you they've seen me play. They're shocked too. I know you are. When I realized that wasn't going to happen, Coach Osborne gave me an opportunity and let me do every aspect of the program and let me run loose, and I'll always be forever grateful to him. I just met with these guys, again, trying not to get emotional. You guys are the reason we're here, and you guys are the reason I'm here. And we've talked about this a lot over the years. This is a players program. And by that I mean, you guys don't run the program. You know that. Let's get that clear. You do not run the program. Okay? That being said, without you guys and without what you've done, I didn't shoot any of these, okay? The guys sitting in front of me, Heather can attest to this, outside of my family and her, these guys are the most important thing to me. And that does not change no matter. Everybody understand that? With that being said, I want to also thank some of the former players. Sorry, guys. Did not see this coming, especially her. Also want to thank some of the former players that made today possible. Heard from a lot of them in the last couple days. Without those guys, we're not standing here. That gym's not full. Those banners aren't up. And I think you guys know this a lot. Players are what make programs, and that's going to not change under me. I want to say a thank you to some of the people that work with our program every day. Blake Bender, who's been an unbelievable addition to us from the University of Florida, has done a great job in our strength and conditioning department. Nicole Neal, who she will tell you, we have many meetings where I say, hey, talk me off the ledge. How did that shot not go in? How did we not guard that guy? Tell me we got better players than them. Want to thank Kelly Brock. The amount of work that she does with both me and our players is not fair to anyone. She has done an unbelievable job with the hours that she puts in, and anybody that can deal with me as much as she has to deal with me and our players needs to be given a round of applause. Also want to really thank Jason McBain just for everything that he's done to this point for our program. He's been unbelievable with me in the past couple of days as far as prepping me for this opportunity. I'm really, really excited. Jason and I talked about this. I think we can do some really cool things in this program as far as promoting our program from a social media standpoint. Can't thank Jason enough for what he's done for me. Ken kind of stole my thunder on this one, unfortunately, but I did want to recognize Coach Tillett. I want to recognize Carl Semesco, Dee and Jim Blankenship. And the reason I say that, you know, one of the reasons that Ken and I have talked about that I think I'm fortunate enough to be standing in front of you guys today is I came in here as a young guy that really, you know, I knew basketball and I was starting to learn people, and I grew up in this program and in this department and in this city. And when I look at Toe and I look at Carl, I look at Dee, I look at Jim, those guys have supported me. I've learned from them, and the standard that they've set at this university, both academically and whether it's on the field or on the court, is something that I hope you guys and myself will live up to. And I just want you guys to know, some of you guys I talk to pretty often, some of you don't, but you guys mean the world to me that you've carried the flag for this university like you have for so long. You'll be getting phone calls if you haven't yet for some hints. Couple other things I want to talk about. Our fans, which is a lot of you guys in this room, and I hope that there's people watching this all over Southwest Florida. What I want this to become, and what I think this can become, is Southwest Florida's team. And by that I mean, I don't want this to be something that people look at and go, oh yeah, remember that one time in 2013? Man, that was Lob City. First of all, it ain't Lob City, it was Dunk City. I want to tell everybody that when they say that. Second of all, that feeling of euphoria, and we got to see it, and we got to be there, that's what we need from the community. That's what we need from this program. And in my opinion, if we'll do the right things, if these guys will represent our program the right way off the court like I think they will, if I do my job like I plan to do it and aspire to do it, I think this will become Southwest Florida's team. That's what we want, and that's what we need. I want the feelings of 2013 to be every time we open those doors, that you got to be there and you got to see it. Can't miss it is how I want you guys to feel. As we go forward, you know, and I want to make sure everybody understands this too, you know, as you go through this thing, and I've said this as you go through coaching, when you go through a coaching change, sometimes you do things different, sometimes you do things the same. I've learned so much from Coach Dooley, from Coach Enfield, from Coach Hamilton. As far as style of play, we're going to blend some different things that we've done really well, some things I want to do differently. But I'll tell you this much. I want you to make sure that when you walk in that gym every night, that you know these kids are going to play their hearts out and they're going to have a lot of fun doing it. okay? That's something I want to make sure everybody's clear on. Last couple things I want to say to everybody in the room. I want to thank all the AAU coaches, high school coaches, all the people, especially in the state of Florida. Some of you guys are not from the state, but that have supported me personally, have supported our program. There's a lot of guys sitting in this room and a lot of guys putting the ball in the basket because of the support that is going on behind the scenes with the relationships. Okay, so everybody, I'm getting a lot of texts, a lot of calls. This is the thank you. I will text and call you back when I can. Last thing I'll say, this has been a lot of fun. I actually enjoy doing some media stuff. I know Heather is still shocked that I started crying because she says that I'm not human sometimes because I don't cry. So there you go, you got that. But I'll tell you this much, as much as I like to do this and as fun as this has been, as soon as we get finished doing a little more media, I'm going to be on the phone, and every kid in this area, every kid in the state of Florida, and any kid I think can contribute to this program, you're going to be hearing from me tonight. So I got to get to work. Ken, I'm going to turn it over to you. Thank you guys so much for coming today.
That concludes the formal portion of our press conference this afternoon. What we'll do at this time is you're all more than welcome to stay, but if you would like to leave at this time, please go ahead and do so. We'll let you disperse for a few moments, and then we'll turn it over for some Q&A with some student athletes, Ken and Coach Fly. Okay, it looks like most of you want to stay, so thank you. We're gonna mix it up a little bit. First, we have our redshirt junior guard Zach Johnson has to get to class after this, student athlete. So we're gonna start with Zach. Kyle McCurry in the back has a microphone that he will run around. So if you have questions, please raise your hand first, and he will get to you accordingly. Dana has a question, shocking. But without further ado, Zach Johnson. Come on, Zach.
Hey, Zach.
How you doing?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm great.
Good. Just your thoughts on Michael's promotion here, and you know, we all know you're thinking about, you know, maybe perhaps playing elsewhere as a grad student. Does this change any of your thought process on that at all?
Honestly, I haven't really thought about me. It's all about Coach Fly today. I'm really excited. Like he was saying, it's a real emotional day for all of us. I've been knowing Coach for a long time, and we've had many conversations. So I'm just honestly happy for his opportunity, and I just know great things about to come.
Can you tell us what Michael brings to the table?
Everything. Literally everything. He has his hands everywhere. He's very hands-on. He obviously cares about us. We know that he's somebody that has our back, and it's something that you don't get a lot of places, and I just feel like we're very fortunate to be in this position.
Are we done?
I have a question.
Hold on.
Are you going to be in class on time, and I hope you got an A in that class?
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Zach. At this time, we'll turn it over to Director of Athletics Ken Cavanaugh for any questions.
How big of an influence was Coach Fly's influence with these guys and Zach specifically and some of the other guys who have potentially talked about moving on?
I mean, I don't look at it in that regard. You got to look long-term. Certainly short-term aspects in any piece are part of a long-term area. I look at it, as I said earlier, over a 7-year window. What are his strengths and what are the opportunities that we can build upon with this program with Michael as our leader versus other alternatives? And as I said earlier, there was significant interest in this position. We just felt that not only did we have the right solution, there was no reason to wait any longer. So that's why we're here today. For a lot of reasons, everybody's happy about that.
Ken, I'll go ahead and toss out a two-parter here. One, I've talked to Michael in the past about, when he does become a head coach, the style of play that he wants to put together, a lot of pressing, a lot of push-push. How much did that influence your decision here? And also, I know that Michael, you talk about this, you'd like it to become a destination place for a coach, and I know that Michael would like to dig in for a long time. How much did those two things impact your decision?
Again, as we had with the previous two hires, I don't really worry too much about long-term. I think every year, you just keep working on taking care of that particular year as you build toward the future. In some instances, and the 4 coaches that were just mentioned, we've been very blessed. They're our only coaches that we've ever had. And we hope that Michael will be in that same thought process. But for anybody on our staff, if there's an opportunity that comes about that's in the best interest of their family and their careers, then we just deal with it at that point. The style of play, again, and I think we played an up-tempo style of play under the last 5 years. There's differences in how Joe versus Andy, but we had the end results that we wanted, and there was plenty of times where we scored a lot of points. I think it's just a matter of overall the fit was there, and I guess part of that certainly was how we would play.
Ken, Michael's reputation around the state with coaches, with parents, with players, with AAU level, all that stuff. How highly do you rate that? And what do you put that on compare with other coaches you encountered?
No, that definitely is very important. And, I think in most instances, students that go to college like to be within a 3 to 4 hour radius. I think that's just a natural study would be that way. Kids want to get within reason, far away, but not too far away on an overall basis. Certainly, we've got a lot of great student athletes. I think we have student athletes from 29 states and 25 countries. So we're very blessed with that. And some of the individuals on the team are in that grouping. But within reason, if FGCU is going to be successful, we are a state institution. We need to take care of our backyard. And a lot of these guys are from the state of Florida, and we're very fortunate through Michael's relationships in particular, and we look forward to having a lot more Florida guys come back and play for us.
Obviously, Coach Dooley only was announced as the ECU's head coach yesterday. You guys knew probably before that. But were there any other candidates that were interviewed?
No. Again, this is a scenario where both Andy and Joe, when they left their previous institutions to come here, I hope that they would stay here and retire, but the practicality of it was that they came and in both instances took a decrease in their salary. They weren't originally from this area initially. They looked at a great opportunity, and for however that long was going to be, we just kind of went with it. But in the back of my mind, I have to continually evaluate, what would our next steps be, and in any position in our department, we're in a scenario where we've had other members of our staff that have been elevated from within, and I hope just like I am with the head men's basketball coach, I look at that across the line and say, okay, are these people ready if so-and-so leaves to move them up? In some instances, yes, some no, but as I mentioned, I've been evaluating and looking at Michael as a candidate for 7 years, and I just felt as we got to the point where Joe informed me that it looked like that he was going to be moving on, at that point I had to make one final decision, talking to Dr. Martin with his blessing, whether we needed to go out and interview with people and compare them to Michael. Really, I'd been comparing them for quite a while.
Any other questions?
The pride of Michigan. You finished second.
Is it premature to expect a holiday tournament with USC, East Carolina?
Hey.
Michigan, that's your responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah, our goal, as always, is in any of our sports, is to play within reason the best teams anywhere, anytime, and we certainly want to make sure we got our fair share down here. As we continue to grow our program, and again, we are emulating, and we don't hide that we want to be the next Gonzaga of the Southeast, or Wichita State, or VCU, and all those other programs that have maintained themselves. And part of that doing is building the successes that television starts to put games together, and maybe we have to start playing games off campus a little bit. Gonzaga Kavanagh has to go to Seattle or whatever it may be. But we would love to do that. We also have talked to Andy before. I haven't talked to Joe about ECU. It's too early on that. But I did talk to Andy as recently as last night and reminded him that that would be a really nice trip for him. And to his credit, he didn't back off. He said the same thing to Michael. So that's 2 of us to 1 of him. We're going to win that vote.
People do not always enjoy playing golf with me, unless you like to laugh a lot. But I do like to go out there. I think it's a great sport. It's funny. I tell this story. Where's Tyler Schwab? He's so tired of all these stories. But by the way, before I say anything else, I thanked everybody in the program and didn't thank the guy that has kept me sane for the last 24 hours and the last 5 years. So thank you, Tyler, for everything you did for us. As soon as we get done and I say I need you to do this, and this, he's going to say, no, I'm going home. Thanks for recognizing me. To get back to your question, I do like to play, and I'll give you a quote Coach Hamilton gave me when I first went to work for him as a 24, 25-year-old, just trying to create conversation. Big bad Leonard Hamilton I was scared of, said, Coach, do you play golf? Just wanted to talk to him about something. He looked right at me and he said, Fly, 2 types of coaches play golf. One that just got fired, one won the national championship, and I'm neither one of them. So I've had a lot of time for golf the last few years, but I do look forward to getting out and spending some time with some of you guys.
Ken, what did Andy have to say?
Oh, Andy was rightfully proud. I think there's Jason handed something out, and there's a quote in there about him, and that's to pretty much paraphrase what he told me last night. I mean, I think anybody that has people that have worked with them and under them are always proud as they do well. We've had a number of folks here that have left us, Pat Pearson, Billy Blood, Colleen Sorum, amongst many others, that I'm proud as an administrator, but I certainly take pride in what our coaches go on and have opportunities. So Andy certainly expressed that, and in a position he should. I mean, he was part of this. If Andy doesn't bring Michael here, this today probably doesn't exist. Greg.
And just a reminder, if you guys would please limit your questions to Ken for right now. We'll have Coach Fly come up in a moment.
Just one last one for Kenny. Michael's been very involved in the community since he's gotten here, basically. How important is that to have a coach that goes out and, spends so much time out in the community and builds the relationships?
No, that's definitely important. I mean, we have a university administration that requires our students to have 80 hours of documented service just for them to graduate. And we can't just expect them to do it if we're not leading by example. Plus, if we want everybody to be a part of Southwest Florida's team, we have to be a part of Southwest Florida. So myself and the coaches and other administrators, we all expect that that's part of it. And we take a lot of pride. We won that runner-up for the national award last year because everything that our student athletes did and our staff did behind them, and that's something that we need to lead. But when you're the head men's basketball coach or women's basketball coach or athletic director or any of our head coaches starting off with, we got to lead by example.
I can.
Hey, Greg.
We talked about possible USC, possible ECU with Michael's connection to Kentucky. How about Kentucky? The reason I ask is I have a niece that graduated from Kentucky and a sister that's a diehard Kentucky fan, and she's never been to referee.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were going to have them come play here. Yeah, so, yeah. Again, Michael and I, as it was with Joe and was with Andy, we'll work hard together on continually trying to produce the best schedule possible. I mean, quite frankly, as we've seen, a lot of the bigger schools won't play the really quality mid-majors. That's why we played Middle Tennessee State twice this year. That's why we played UC Santa Barbara and Georgia Southern twice in the same year, which you really don't usually want to do that. But I guess it's a backhanded compliment when you call and they don't even return your phone calls. But, we've gone to Wichita and to Michigan State, Baylor, and a lot of other places in recent years and played very, very well. And we look forward to continuing to do that. And again, it's all about trying to move forward. And the more we continue to have success and move our profile further into the national spotlight, which means hopefully having success in the NCAA tournament, the more those things will start to broker themselves. We'll always ask. We just hope they at least have the respect to return our phone calls.
Any other questions? Pat?
All right, and we will bring back up head coach Michael Fly.
All right, fire away. Dana.
I want to talk to you about style of play. We've discussed that before, but you haven't talked about it much. We haven't talked about it at all here in this setting. What do you envision, and what sort of changes can fans look for as far as the style of play that you want to implement here?
Well, I think part of the beauty of this whole situation is, you know, Coach Dooley, like I said, did such an unbelievable job. I mean, you're talking about won a championship in every season that he was here except one. So obviously we're doing a lot of things right, okay, and these guys know that. As you go through coaching, you know, like I told you, you take something from each guy that you're with, whether it be Coach Hamilton, whether it be Coach Bickerstaff, Coach Enfield, Coach Dooley. So, you know, Coach Dooley and I talked about this a lot when he came here. You know, he said to me, he said, man, you guys had unbelievable success, and I was really impressed with you know, what Coach Enfield and you guys did. That being said, when you take over a program, whether it's myself, it's Coach Dooley, it's Coach Enfield, whoever it is, you have to coach in a way that you're comfortable, and you have to coach in a way that you know you can be successful. And so we're going to keep some of the things that we've done that have made us so successful. You know, whether people realize this or not, we did a lot of the things that we did with Coach Enfield with Coach Dooley as well. What I'll tell you about style of play, and I haven't even got to talk to these guys about this yet, but I want everybody that comes in that front door, and then when you check into that game, whether the ball's tipped or you're subbing in, I want it to be all out pressure. I want it to be very aggressive, which these guys are going, oh, this means a lot of running. I want when people come into Alico Arena that they are very, very intimidated by the way that we play. Now, what does that mean? We'll get into that with some different schemes and different things that we do. But I don't ever want somebody walking this arena where they think that it's going to be an easy night, where they think that we're not going to be extremely aggressive and coming after them from the jump.
You mentioned recruiting, obviously, in the state. Coach Dooley and Coach Gillespie talks about fencing in the backyard here in Southwest Florida. I know you guys have one particular recruit signed on from Southwest Florida for next year's class. But just how important is that to keep guys and the talent that's here at home at FGCU?
Now, do you mean Southwest Florida, or do you mean the state of Florida?
Southwest Florida or Florida.
Well, you know what, I think, and I don't want this to be misconstrued, because please don't hear this out there. Because we have a lot of guys from the state of Florida does not mean we're not going to recruit other places. I mean, looking at our roster right now, Ray Sean's been an unbelievable player for us. He came all the way from Compton, California. Okay, you look at Kyle Hoffman from Kansas, has been a great contributor for us. I don't see Darnell right now, but there's Darnell from well, it depends on who you ask. He'll tell you he's from Baltimore, sometimes South Carolina, North Carolina. So we're going to recruit the best players, okay? The best players based on relationships with people that myself and my staff know. And that's a big deal for me. We are not going to go down a list and say, well, he's ranked here and he's ranked there, because guess what? You may be ranked, your star rating may be great. If they don't fit the culture of what we're trying to do, I don't care what their star rating is, okay? Brady, sorry, I didn't mean to leave you out, Mr. Iowan. I know you too. Well, you're so small, I didn't see you back there. George has been good to us, obviously, with Brandon and some of those guys and Bernard Thompson. But to answer your question, you know, I've always thought from a strategy standpoint, you have got to recruit your own backyard. And the reason I tell you that, and this has always been my theory, you can go and recruit, you know, other areas, and you can get good players. But I've always said to myself, and this may come out a little egotistical, but the way I've always thought about it, if they were that good, whoever Michael Fly is in that area, why are they not going to a school close to there? And that's what I would tell you. We are going to make the people closest to us, both Florida and Georgia, because it's geographically the smartest place to recruit, know that they are always welcome in that arena. They are always welcome at our team camp. I will be the most accessible head coach that I can potentially be. These guys joke with me all the time, oh, if it's about a player, I know you're going to go do it, which they're right. That's why a lot of them are here. So yeah, we're going to really recruit the state because it's been so good to us, and to be honest with you, because it's logical, because it's right here. As far as Southwest Florida in general, obviously Ricky's with us. I think Ricky is going to have a really, really good year next year, no pressure. Really excited about him. I can comment on sign guys, correct? Caleb Caddo, who is coming in from Southwest Florida Christian Academy, I think you guys are really, really going to like. He came and played with these guys the other day. I am extremely high on him, both as a person, a student, and what he can do on the basketball court. Where the best players are is where we're going to go. Now, fortunately for us, as these guys will tell you, a lot of the best players are in Florida and Georgia. If we can go get us an Iowan where I can get me some corn from time to time, I'll go do that too.
Michael, you've answered some of the specifics about what will be next, obviously, but you can thank yourself a little bit for this question about expectations, since as part of Andy's staff, you guys achieved the mighty thing that created Southwest Florida's super high expectations all the time. How do they elevate? How high can you take this program from where Joe kept it moving forward to where it moved?
Well, I think you made a great comment on that when you say expectations. I think people sometimes get lost on, 2013 was a fantastic year, and I could not be more proud of that team. But I've told these guys, and I told them this throughout the process. I told them before we played Oklahoma State. I told them before, unfortunately, we had one bad half against Lipscomb. I told them the entire year, this is not about a one-year deal, okay? And we have grown this program since Coach Enfield left and since Coach Dooley took over to, and this is no disrespect to Sherwood Brown and Brett Comer and Chase Feeler and Bernard Thompson, all those guys. But I would tell you, when they watch our team, you know what a lot of them are thinking? Well, I wish I could play with some of those guys. And so when you say expectations, to be able to consistently build a team that's winning 20 games a year, winning a championship every year outside of one slip-up that we're going to try to forget about, the expectation level, I believe, has actually risen since 2013 because of what Coach Dooley did here, what Coach Enfield did here. But these guys will tell you, from an expectation standpoint, I will never stand in front of you and say, I'm going to guarantee you that we're going to go to the NCAA tournament and win this many games or whatever. But these guys will tell you there is not one person in this community that has a higher expectation level for this program than me. And that's part of the reason I'm still here. As good as we have been, and I think we've been tremendous, and that's a testament to these guys, and it's a testament to what Coach Dooley and our staff has built. As good as we have been, I think that this can be a special, special, special situation for a long time. So when you talk about expectations, my expectation is to win as many basketball games as we can. I told these guys before, I want them to have a really good time doing it. I want you to enjoy playing the game. I want everybody sitting in this room, which they know I'm big on this, to get a degree. It is not optional. So those are my expectations, to graduate guys, to have guys that represent Florida Gulf Coast the right way, and to make sure that we're putting ourselves in the best position to get to the level program that it's my expectation that we are.
This school has done a great job in sports marketing. Obviously, Dunk City all behind you. #raining threes. How do you think your own last name might play into some sports marketing here?
Well, that's an interesting question you asked that. Miss Cersei here and I have, and where's Donna Sublett? I think she was here earlier. Been a few questions about, when are you guys going to tie the knot? When do you get married? So I'm still having the argument that Fly is a much cooler name than Cersei Fly as a hyphen. So anybody that can help me do that, feel free to talk to her. That being said, obviously it's a funny deal. It's a cool last name to have. I think it could probably help in some marketing and some recruiting stuff. I've joked with people before. I think I probably, when I was younger, got some positions, especially at a young age, because people just remembered my name. The resume stuck out because of the name. So I guess I can thank Steve and Deborah Fly for that. But I think we can have some fun with it for sure.
Michael, assistants, what's your time frame on that, and what do you have in mind as far as the type of assistants that you want to bring in?
Well, I think when you talk about your staff, and I want to be, careful with this question because obviously, Coach Dooley has just taken over at East Carolina. I think we had a tremendous staff this year. David Cason and Coach Abadamarco have unbelievable experience. They did a great job with us. Tyler Schwab and Derek DeMasi, who's in the background, Lawrence Brenneman, we've all really worked together to obviously create, what's going on the floor. When you talk about assistants, you want assistant coaches that, and I've said this to a lot of people, that are here because they want to be at Florida Gulf Coast. okay? And we'll go through the process and figure out who that's going to be and who's the best fit. But I think the biggest thing is whoever is going to work with me, and it will not be for me, it will be with me. Because like I told you guys, this is a family deal to me. I want them to want to be at Florida Gulf Coast, just like I've told these guys. If they're looking at their next job and they're coming here because they think they're going to leave in a year or two for a bigger payday, I hope we win enough that that happens. But I want people that love these guys and that love what we're trying to do and that are great people. And I think if you go through that, obviously, you know, there's been a call or two in the last day or so. So we'll go through that process, Ken and myself, but I think that's going to be an important piece of what we do.
Do you have a time frame on how long it would take to get that in place? I know it could take a while.
Yeah, I don't have a specific time frame right now. I mean, obviously, like I said, I've had, as Ken said, you know, and people have asked me before, you know, are you ready to be a head coach? Well, I've been thinking about this day from the start of my career, and then since I got here for 7 years, okay? So I've had some ideas of who I think might be able to help our program, but that's something as we go, you know, we'll get to.
And Michael, last one for me. You know, there's been some concern about players leaving, and of course, when a coaching change happens, there's always concern about players leaving. What are your thoughts about being able to retain the guys that are currently here? And also, you mentioned Cato Caleb earlier, and then Zachary Scott, of course, is also expected to come in. How do you feel about bringing those two in and retaining the others?
I don't want to leave that. I also want to mention Quinton Jackson, who signed with us from Tallahassee Community College. Going to be a really good player as well. I'm not going to get into it, and these guys know this, and I haven't had time to have individual meetings with them yet. You know, I've had this conversation with Zach, but I want guys that want to be here. And I will not stand up here and guarantee that every player in this room is going to be here. I don't think that's fair to them. I don't think it's fair to put that pressure on them. That being said, I would hope that every guy that's in this room and every guy that's listening to this press conference knows that I'm going to care about them as people. I'm going to make sure they're successful off the court. And then don't get me wrong, we're going to do everything we can to win and enjoy ourselves on the court. So I don't think it's honestly fair to put that pressure on those guys. We're going to sit down and talk about what I think they need to improve on off the court, on the court, in the classroom. And then I want our players, like I said, to want to be here. I want them to be here not because how many points they might be able to score that could lead them to the net. I want them to be here because they want to continue to hang banners, because they love this community. And I've told these guys this a lot. My hope is that for years and years to come, guys can come back here and this will always be home for them. Graham.
One comment, one question. First is, we're thinking about the same time 2011. I couldn't be happier for you, so congratulations. Question is, what's your plan, what's your philosophy for engaging the community and fundraising? Very self-centered question. And is there something, or is there a plan that you would like to put together, what you need in the form of resources to take the program to the next level?
Yeah, that's not self-centered at all, Graham. I can't even think about, I don't even know what your job title is. People that know me and you guys, you know, that have gotten to know me over the years, I'm a people person. I'm a relationship person. This is not about winning basketball games to me. I love to win. Everybody knows that. I've been fortunate enough to win at every stop I've been at. Let's continue that. Okay, but for me, this is about this is definitely not about me. This is about our program. This is about the people in this room. This is about the family that we're trying to create and grow. And what I would tell you is, like I said, I want to do everything in my power to make sure this isn't my team, it's not these guys' teams, it's Southwest Florida's team. And so, you know, I look forward, I'm really excited, you know this, to being able to work with you. A lot of people I see in the room, and I know some people have texted me and called me saying they're watching streaming online. I can't wait to sit down and spend some individual time with you guys and talk about the program. You know, I want to know what some of you guys think. You know, sometimes I'm sitting there on the bench and, you know, we think we know what's going on. Maybe you see something that we don't see. So I would love to hear, you know, what you think about the program, what we can improve. I'll be more than happy to let you know how you can help us improve. But that's going to be a very big piece for me. And Ken knows this. Dr. Martin and I discussed this. You know, anybody that's known me for a long time, besides these guys' well-being off the court, which is always going to be number one for me, always, always, I'm going to be concerned about recruiting. So I know that we're always going to have players like this, and then I'm going to be concerned about fundraising, because I think that if the community is behind us, and I think that if this can become a place that you guys want to support, whether that be financially, whether that be being here like you are today, again, as good as we have been, I think this can be a special, special place.
Any other questions?
Thank you guys again so much for coming and supporting me today. I'm sure Jason wants to close it, but I just want to tell everybody in the room personally how much I appreciate it. Some of you guys that called and texted that I have not responded to, I've got one or two I got to get back to, so I definitely will get back to you at some point, but it means the world to me that you guys came out and showed us support today.
All right, that will wrap up the press conference for this afternoon. We will have some select student athletes hang around for some media members for some one-on-ones if you'd like that opportunity. Otherwise, I don't think Coach Fly is going anywhere for the time being. Thank you all for coming. For those of you, there is a handout going around if you're interested in it. This also will be emailed out shortly, and it's on the website now with the press release. Included in there are quotes from Leonard Hamilton, Andy Enfield, and former players Brandon Goodwin, Brett Comer, and Chase Feeler. So all that information is in there for you as well, including a new headshot for our head coach. So thank you for coming. And we will do a jersey presentation here for photo and video shortly as well. Thank you for coming. Yeah.